So here we are after 21 rounds. Rick Swanson still on top of the game with Obsession, Samson in second spot, Dragon Slayer third, Natural High in fourth, and Paul Jensen in Spider-Man in fifth place. Rounding out the top 10 again, Bigfoot in sixth, followed by Iron Outlaw, Public Disturbance, Monster Moose, and a Monster Jerky. All right, now after 21 rounds, obstacle course looks like this. Rick Swanson with a 100-point lead out in front, followed by Samson, Dragon Slayer, Spider-Man, and Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. Rounding out the top 10 positions, Dan Runty and Bigfoot is sixth, followed by Monster Jerky, Public Disturbance, Lindsay Wink and Iron Outlaw, and Jimmy Cretin in Bounty Hunter. Well, Darren, we're back in Del Rio, Texas. What do you think? I mean, we had 4 trucks this last time around. Now we're up to 6. The competition is going to get a little rougher out there. What are your plans for tonight?
It's definitely going to get harder. Craig showed up finally after all the bad luck he's had. Hopefully he's run out of that. But it's definitely a tight course. Last night it was a little watery in the corners, and my truck didn't want to slide. Unfortunately, neither did the other truck. So bad luck on their part, but good luck was on my side. Hopefully we can get some more on this side tonight.
Any changes on the truck between last round and tonight?
Yeah, during the freestyle, we blew up a planetary on the left rear, so this morning, while it was cool out, I changed that up. And I checked some air pressures, messing with the air pressures in the tires this time. Hopefully it'll get a little more bite on the straight line. So hopefully we got all of our nuts and bolts tight, and we can get another win tonight.
Awesome, man. Well, that sounds great. Congratulations on your win last night, and we'll look forward to seeing you out there tonight.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank our sponsors, Awesome Racewear, TX7, and MSD. We couldn't do it without them, and hopefully we can get you another win tonight.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much, Darren.
Thank you very much.
So, Matt, tell me a little bit about the trip up here. It was kind of rough for you guys, huh?
Yeah, our trailer actually caught on fire on the way up here. We almost didn't make it.
So, any damage to the truck that was irreparable, or anything that's going to affect you out there tonight?
No, it was actually all just cosmetic damage. Luckily, it's just the plastic on the side and the stickers that say shattered. Luckily.
Awesome, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you out there tonight. It's great to have you back on the MOD Tour. I know it's been quite a while since we've seen you in the shattered truck out here, so good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, I know, Kelvin, we've certainly talked before about the winning streak that the Natural High is starting to go on now, but now with 2 wins under your belt, what's the plan of attack out here in Del Rio?
You know, like normal, 1/3 of it's preparation. You know, we got up early this morning. The rear steering was kicking a little slow for us, and it wasn't kicking at the exact same every time I hit the pedal. So what we did is we took the valves apart on the rear pump, cleaned them up. We did a little bit of electrical work to it and trying to make it a little more consistent. So we're trying to cover that 1/3 preparation, get it down right. As long as I stay on the same pattern I've been on as far as driving, we got that third. Now all that's left is the 1/3 lock.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on your win out here in round number 21. We'll look forward to seeing you out there tonight.
Thank you. You know, this has been a real good year for me. We've been in the finals 5 times this year already, and we've gotten 3 trophies, and that's more than I expected for my first year. So I'm on a high right now.
Right on, man. Well, that's great. It's definitely great to have you out here on the Monsters of Destruction Tour, and look forward to seeing what the Natural High's got in her tonight.
Only time will tell that.
Now moving on to qualifying, it's round number 1. Ready to kick-start this show and get her going is Darren Basel in El Matador. He's going to be running with Craig Christensen in the 01 Dragon Slayer, your 2005 season champion, here in qualifying action. So let's take a look at the first qualifying round, a very short track here in Del Rio. Man, oh man, El Matador with a 3.451. Dragon Slayer a 3.589, and I tell you what, this start is going to make all the difference on this track. Going to be very interesting to see what happens. Matt Powers in Shattered. This is a very underpowered truck compared to a lot of the other trucks in the field. However, Matt's only been behind the wheel for about 1.5 years. He's not even old enough to drink a beer, so he's the youngest monster truck driver ever seen on MOD circuit. And so stands the reason that they don't want to give him the full power as of yet. But Rick Swanson in Obsession, a 3.745 Shattered with a 5.218. A great run by both drivers. Looks like Rick Swanson is out for blood, more or less. He wants to take this thing home in style as the season is getting ready to wind down to a close. Now on to Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, going up against David Smith and King Crunch. Here they go as they leave the line. Crunch has got the advantage. Up and over they go across the line. Crunch with a red light, not going to happen. Raymer with a 3.558, a good time for Raymer as well. In fact, I think that's one of the fastest we've seen so far. So Christensen and Dragonslayer comes out for his second run at qualifying. Now the drivers are going to swap lanes. The lanes are just a touch different here. Not by length per se, but two different lanes always drive differently. So Basel and Christensen going at it. Christensen going to drop the hammer right off the bat, and Christensen with a red light dropping that hammer a little too quickly. El Matador going to end with a 3.741, and that's going to put him in a pretty good position come race time when we go into brackets here in just a little bit. Rick Swanson and Obsession lining up, getting staged and ready to go up against Matt Powers and Shattered again. Now, one thing I want to mention about Matt, he really has his composition. He has a lot of poise for such a young driver. Does a great job with what he has out there. And he comes to us out of Twin Falls, Idaho. Great that he comes out and joins us and learns the ropes as far as the monster truck industry is concerned. Obsession at 3.58, Shattered a 4.974. So now into the final rounds of qualifying. David Smith in King Crunch after a red light this last time around. Going to go back up against Kelvin Raymer in the Natural High as they shoot to qualify their second time to take the faster of the two times to advance into rounds. And here we go as they cross the line. Who's it going to be? It is Raymer in the Natural High with a 3.585. King Crunch a 3.632. A flawless run by both drivers, the two fastest times that we've seen aside from Basil's. So El Matador going to finish up on top with a 3.451, followed by Natural High, Obsession, Dragon Slayer, King Crunch. And of course, rounding out the field is Matt Powers and Shattered with a 4.974 in that Jeep-bodied machine. So let's move on to straight line drags. It is time to go racing as Kelvin Raymer in Natural High lines up to do battle on this very, very short straight line drag track. He is going to go up against David Smith and King Crunch. Now, this is going to be an interesting battle. Both trucks very quick, both drivers experienced now. Crunch has been doing this for quite a while. And there they go across the line. Oh, and Raymer almost bumps into him. A 3.546 for Crunch, 100th of a second faster than Raymer with a 3.552. So here's the replay. Crunch coming off the line, and pretty much a side-by-side finish. Leave it to the timing equipment to tell the difference. Crunch with a 1:28 reaction time, Natural High. A little better than a quarter of a second at a .360. So Natural High a little bit slower off the line. It would appear that if you judge by the times, Natural High actually had the faster truck. So King Crunch is going to advance. Natural High with a very fast time. Very well may come back as our fast loser here in just a few moments when we get to that point. So round number 2 features Rick Swanson in the number 95 Obsession. He is going to be running by himself, it appears. Up and over the cars he goes. A very quick and short run. 3.473. Dragon Slayer not able to join us. Apparently word coming from the pits, I believe, is he has a starter problem. We'll find out here in just a few moments. We'll give you more information as it becomes available. And there's a replay of Swanson coming across the line in a very quick time.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's Pro.
So straight line drags heat 3 shapes up like this. Darren Basel and El Matador is going to do battle, and it's going to be a tough battle with Matt Powers and Shattered. Now, Matt has got a lot of things going his way. That Jeep a little less power than some of the others that are out here, and as you can see, El Matador just stomping across the line with a 3.723, Shattered a 5.066. Actually almost a half a second slower than his qualifying times were when we were there moments ago. So Darren Basel and El Matador obviously going to advance into semifinals. So semifinal rounds are going to be very quick this evening. This track is very short. That start is absolutely critical. You got to get all 4 tires hooked up immediately and not be sleeping on those lights. If you don't have less than a quarter of a second reaction time, it's looking like tonight you are going to go home broke and unhappy. So let's move on to semifinals here in straight line drags. For those of you that are just joining us, we're in Del Rio, Texas. I'm Kevin Hynes here on the Outdoor Channel for Monsters of Destruction, round number 22. David Smith and King Crunch going up against Rick Swanson and Obsession. Here they go, side by side. They're up and over. Going to come down to the equipment. A 3.441 for Crunch. Obsession falling short with a 3.547. A tenth of a second difference. And, you know, I think almost all of our margins are going to be that small or smaller as the competition gets very tough out here tonight. King Crunch going to take that one by storm. A great run by both drivers. Look at that reaction time. Crunch with a .068. Obsession a .267. And like I mentioned before, without less than a quarter of a second reaction time, I believe that's going to be costing people races out here tonight. Side by side across the line, you could barely see Obsession right behind Crunch's truck there at the finish line cam. So we're going to move right along to our second semifinal race. It is going to feature King Crunch's teammate, Darren Basel and El Matador. He is going to be running against Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. Now, this is also going to be a tough battle. Both of these trucks have good cleats on the rear tires. They both are very quick drivers off of the light. Here they go side by side, and once again, and Raymer almost runs into El Matador. Man, oh man, some of these things that these guys will do for victory. A 3.373 versus a 3.4. So Raymer is going to take that one, but not without any undue stress on Darren Basel and El Matador. Natural High, a .081 reaction time. Matador, a .145. That was almost the exact difference there was in the times over the entire race. So a very close run for those two as well. Great finish line shot there as the drivers went side by side. So your finals are going to shape up with Kelvin Raymer in Natural High and David Smith in King Crunch. Let's move on to that final round right now. Raymer in the number 18 Natural High machine was also the winner of round 18 in our 06 season thus far. David Smith in King Crunch, a newcomer to the MOD series this year. However, great to have him on board. And here we go. Light goes green, final round. Raymer is out in front. And look at that, a 3.414 Crunch with a 3.554. A slower time than he ran last time, but Kelvin Raymer got the job done here today. Let's take a look at this replay. A flawless run for the Watsonville, California native in the Natural High. Raymer has come to play and play hard with a .192 reaction time. Crunch had a .165, but it appears that Raymer had the upper hand on that opposite lane and a little bit better cleats on the rear tires to get him across the line first. Great slow-mo shot there here in Monsters of Destruction. Let's take a look at our standings for tonight. Straight line drags, Raymer on top in the Natural High, followed by King Crunch, El Matador, Obsession, and Matt Powers in Shattered. All right, and thus far for the season, Swanson still on top in Obsession, followed by Samson in second, Dragon Slayer third, Natural High in fourth, and Paul Jensen in Spider-Man rounding out the top five. 6 through 10 looks like this. Dan Runty and Bigfoot in sixth, followed by Iron Outlaw, Public Disturbance, Monster Moose, and Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. Back with more after these words.
All right, David, well, we're down here. Round 22 has taken a little different turn of events out here tonight. Straight line drags, again, a tough run out here tonight. Even with a field of 6 trucks, what do you say, man? MOD is tough stuff.
Yeah, I mean, everybody out here is extremely competitive. The trucks are within a couple of thousandths of each other, it seems like, on the racing run. So it comes down really on who cut the better light. Actually, I think I had the better light, but he was a little bit faster in the racing. So he wound up with a win tonight. I mean, glad that we brought Flame Motorsports team to the finals again, but I mean, there's still obstacle course and we still have freestyle left, so we'll take one of them hopefully.
That's right. You guys always have a strong showing in MOD. We talked earlier on in the year when you guys came out and you just put the hammer down, and it's great to have you back out here again.
Oh yeah, I mean, we love running for the MOD series. I mean, it's really extremely competitive. You're running against lights. You're not running. I mean, there's no propaganda involved. I mean, whenever you come out here, you're running against the other truck, and the best man wins. At the end of the night. So tonight it was Kelvin, and congratulations to him. And hopefully we'll come back in the obstacle course. And again, we have tomorrow night too. So I mean, I'm not giving up yet. There's always other little tricks and stuff that you can play. And I mean, the trucks are both our trucks. It seems like everybody's trucks are right there. So I mean, it's nothing that we're going to come out and pull some big magic out of our hat and is going to make our truck 10 times faster. I mean, the trucks are all right there. So it's extremely good racing, and we look forward to doing it again.
That's right. Well, David, congratulations, and thanks for coming out. It's great to have you.
I appreciate it. I mean, I like to thank all my sponsors anyway. Awesome Racewear, they do our awesome driving suits as far as it goes. So they do all our crew uniforms and things like that. MSD Ignition, they keep our engines running along with TX7 and Polydyne. And as well as Motorcom, they take care of all our RI stuff, keep our trucks safe. I mean, that's what keeps the fans safe here too. So we want to thank them and NGK Spark Plugs. They keep the fire to the motor. So other than all those guys, they back us up. It wasn't enough tonight, but maybe it will be a little bit later on.
All right, David, we'll look forward to seeing you out there for obstacle course racing.
Thank you very much.
Well, Kelvin, once again, you're back on top of the podium, and man, it just seems like you're getting comfortable out here on the top spot, huh?
Yeah, this is 3 in a row. You know, we almost goofed it up there in the beginning. We slept on the line and came back as fast loser, and you know, just feel fortunate to make it.
Well, you know, a lot of drivers are out there. You know, Lindsey Wink, to name one, comes back as fast loser a lot, and it just gives you one more chance to prove that one time that you can come out here and run with the best and put the hammer down. So tonight, congratulations. You wound out on top again, and man, I don't know what to say. You're just you're on top of it tonight.
No, it feels great. You know, I'm real happy to be here. You know, without my family supporting me, I wouldn't be here.
That's right. Well, Kelvin, thanks so much. Congratulations once again, and we'll look forward to seeing you out here for obstacle course.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
So there you have it, a happy winner, Kelvin Raymer, moving on to obstacle course racing. He is going to be featured in our first heat of obstacle course racing against David Smith and King Crunch. These two just can't get enough of each other here tonight. Del Rio, Texas, proven to be a very tough proving ground for a lot of these trucks. There's King Crunch off the line, around in the first corner a little bit wide. My suspicion is that Raymer is ahead at this point, but as they hit the cars side by side, who's it gonna be? One more corner, here we go. Raymer's up on 2 wheels. Crunch is over the cars and sideways. Crunch is all over it. Raymer not gonna make it this time around. By a second and a half, King Crunch with a 19.666, and Natural High gonna settle for a 20.987. Let's take a look at this replay. Crunch, a very good shot right off the get-go. Around the corner, shot this one a little bit wide, trying to tuck it in tight NASCAR style. And coming back over the cars, gets this next corner just about right. Slowing down just a touch too much, but that's what it took to get him the victory with a .644 reaction time versus Natural High's .16 time. So Natural High was a half a second faster on the light, but David Smith and King Crunch made up that and more for a second and a half victory, which means that he was almost 2 seconds faster than Kelvin Raymer over the course of the entire 3-car run here in obstacle course racing in Del Rio. So an awful tough battle. Looks like these guys have got their work cut out as they hit that final stack of cars. It is going to launch them big time. So King Crunch going to move on to semifinals. We'll be back with that here in just a few moments. But for now, heat race number 2 in obstacle course action. Rick Swanson in the number 95 Obsession, your 06 points leader currently. And Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Now, Craig was not having a good night earlier tonight. It looks like they got that starter fixed. And he's going to be out and ready for action right now as they come out on obstacle course. Obsession, a fast truck. Dragon Slayer, also a fast truck around these corners. They've got to keep it tight and control their speed and control the trucks entirely in order to make it work. So Dragon Slayer working his way around. Here they go over the final set of cars. Dragon Slayer coming from behind on that after that second turn for a 17.234 victory over Obsession 17.928. Wow, what some great racing here on MOD. Let's take a look at these replays. Christensen there, you see right off the bat, a little bit of a wide corner there, suffered a little bit of loss of time there, however did hit the ramp with all 4 tires. Coming around this corner, just nails the throttle right there, a .275 reaction time, and that corner and that throttle response is what got him the victory in that race right there. So it looks like Swanson might have enough to advance as the fast loser. We'll find out as the other trucks make their way out into the field. But that will be up to the MOD officials coming here in just a little bit. So look at Swanson. Huge launch off of those cars here in Del Rio.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays,
Now.
So as a driver, a lot of people think it'd be a really cool job, but me personally, after seeing what I've seen live and in studios and things, these guys have it awful tough in those trucks. They are very difficult to drive. So Darren Basel and El Matador matching up against Matt Powers and Shattered. Here we go. The hammer drops. Basel out in front and El Matador. Shattered going a little bit slow there. It looks like El Matador just about ready to catch up with Shattered here as he works his way over his third set of cars. El Matador getting lined up there, coming across the finish line. Looks like he might be having some mechanical difficulty there. Not able to tell for sure, but it's not like Darren Basel to slow down even when he's way ahead. So El Matador going to take the win with a 21.270. Shattered with a 25.255. Let's take a look at this run and see what happened. Darren Basel off the launch there. A great shot around the first corner. He's still got the hammer down here. You see the wheels spinning and dirt is flinging everywhere. Right about there, he gets lined up for this corner and just does not hammer it. Just babies it right up and over the cars. And don't know what happened there. Very interesting scenario for Darren Basel and El Matador. We'll find out more about that here in just a little bit. Matt Powers and Shattered, the youngest driver in MOD history out here. As you see him work his way over the cars, that Jeep is very difficult to control. It's not sprung like the other trucks. In fact, it is sprung more like a Jeep, in fact. Just the straight shock design, very stiff. He's got coil set up on as the springs, and that's got to be tough on the rebound action for the shocks and the dampening capabilities. So Basel and El Matador going to move on. Let's get going with semifinals here as Craig Christensen and Dragon Slayer going to be doing some good battle here as your 05 season champion. David Smith and King Crunch has put up a heck of a fight in MOD action so far in 06. So as these guys take off side by side, here we go. Crunch is off, Dragon Slayer is off, and they go sideways into the first corner. Who's it going to be? They're about side by side. Christensen a little wide. Crunch is in the lead right now. Coming into the final corner, it looks like Christensen having a problem maintaining grip, and Crunch is over the cars first, but Christensen is going awful fast. A 17.765 victory for Crunch. Dragon Slayer with an 18.305. That's going to put him back a little notch. So Crunch is going to advance to the final round. And look at this. Just look at how tight this track is here in Del Rio. It has got to be tough for these drivers. After talking to them in the pits earlier, you know, a lot of the guys are just trying to keep it straight and keep it tight in the corners. Dragon Slayer, look at that reaction time. Less than a tenth of a second. A great shot off of the lights, but unfortunately was not enough on this track to be able to capture the win from David Smith and King Crunch. I think David just wanted it too bad. After being out here very few times in MOD action here in 2006, he wanted to come out and prove himself yet again here in Del Rio, Texas. So David Smith and King Crunch moving on to the final round. Your second semifinal coming your way right now as Darren Basel and El Matador. A very, very fast truck. We'll find out if he was suffering from mechanical difficulty. He's going to be doing battle with Rick Swanson in the 95 Obsession. As the light gets ready to go green, here they go. Hammer drops. Obsession already off to the side a little bit, sliding it sideways, coming into the corner with the hammer down. Basel doing the same in El Matador. There you see Swanson slowing down a little bit for that final corner. El Matador bobbles. Here they go, side by side. No, Swanson appears to have the upper hand in this one. And indeed he did. An 18.894 going up against El Matador in 19.17. So that is an awful tough loss for Darren Basel and El Matador. Apparently the last round here in initial round of bracket racing, Darren was just kind of hanging on to the truck since he already knew he had the victory. However, time means lane choice in any bracket racing professional event. So Swanson obviously had the lane choice this time around. Obsession with a .216 reaction time over El Matador's almost 0.3 of a second. But that was not enough to make or break this race for either driver. Quite frankly, Rick Swanson just outdrove Darren Basel this time around. Not by much, but it was enough to maintain the victory. So Rick Swanson is going to be advancing into the final round. Darren Basel right there. That was the bobble that cost him this race. Great replay shot there. So Rick Swanson get a face-off with David Smith in King Crunch as we move our way into the final round.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by
The fastest of the fast are out here right now for MOD action. Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession truck out of Menifee, California, and David Smith in King Crunch. Both of these drivers have posted very quick times here tonight. And here we go. The light goes green, the hammer drops. They're both straight over the cars and into the corner very tightly the first time around. Swanson a little bit wide, using the rear steer to control the truck. Looks like he did hit the ramp with all 4 tires from the view that we had from up here. Swanson is up over the cars, Crunch is up and over, and here we go. It's up to the timing equipment, an 18:07.5 for Swanson. Gonna capture the win by almost 4/10 of a second. And man, oh man, 4/10 of a second doesn't seem like much, but when you are racing for money, trophies, and points, it's all about those tenths and hundredths of a second. Swanson this time around by almost 4/10 of a second. Gonna take the final round victory here in obstacle course and clinching even further that 2006 points championship. Not only is he ahead in straight line drags, but also in obstacle course as well with 100 points plus compared to our next closest driver. So right now Rick Swanson has the 06 championship in his sights and basically in his grasp, unless something happens drastically and Dan Patrick and Sampson is able to join us for the remainder of the season. But right now you see David Smith and King Crunch having a problem getting stopped there. So let's take a look at our board now. Rick Swanson in Obsession on top, followed by King Crunch, Dragon Slayer, El Matador, and Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, rounding out the top 5. 6th place, Matt Powers in Shattered. Our youngest driver out there this evening, posting a pretty good time, doing a great job competing out here with the big dogs. So now, so far for the season, Rick Swanson in Obsession, 446 points over Sampson's 321 in second. Dragon Slayer in third, Raymer in Natural High in fourth. And let's round out the top 10 here with Dan Runty and Bigfoot, Monster Jerky, Public Disturbance, Iron Outlaw, and the Bounty Hunter.
All right, David. Well, once again, you're back up in the winner's circle, so to speak. You're on top of the podium, second spot. A great run out here tonight with the Crunch.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like we're always on the outside looking in on the winner's circle. Tonight, I mean, it was a battle on who screwed up the least. I mean, we both were messing up in the turns every turn we took. Whenever I looked down there, it's like, oh, he messed up. Maybe I got a chance. And then, you go back down to the next one, and he messed up. Well, I was messing up at the same time. So, I mean, he outdrove me today, definitely in the obstacle course. And I mean, maybe tomorrow. You never know.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was less than 4/10 of a second by the end of the race, so you put up a heck of a battle. Definitely was not a lack of driving or a lack of truck. It happened to be Rick's night tonight, but you put on a great show for us and the fans as well.
Oh, that's where we're out here. I mean, we want to give the fans a good show. We want to make them, every time you come to, to Del Rio, they want to come back and watch your show. So, I mean, we're out here to perform. Rick does an awesome job at performing as well. So, I mean, we got Freestyle next. So the night's not over, and we'll see how we do on that one.
There you go. David, thanks so much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. David Smith, King Crunch. Come on. All right, Rick. Well, a tough race out here tonight. You had a little less than 4/10 of a second on him by the end of the run. How tough was this course tonight?
Well, like David said, we were both trying to just make up for mistakes in the corner. Last night, it was really loose. You could slide it. Tonight, they dug it up really good today. They watered it really good. Well, unfortunately, it makes it really tacky for us. So we were both kind of backpedaling in the corners. And, luckily, I came out on top. Like you said, it was really, really close.
Well, a great run for Obsession. Now, tell me, who's this guy here? Is this your crew chief?
That's it, man. This is my son, Eric. He's changed differentials, transmissions. That was so we could get here. We had a day to do everything, and between me and him, we got it all done.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations. You're back on top again, once again solidifying the 06 points lead, and we look forward to some great freestyle tonight.
We're going to do our best. We got to thank all our sponsors, FabTech, AmeriGas, James Duff, Super Chips. Without them, we can't even get here. You know, and then I got to thank my wife back in the pits. Believe it or not, she was jumping up on tire, dusting off the window every run so we could see out the window. My son was bringing me drinks, hooking up battery chargers, doing everything he could. You know, as we've said before, we're dedicated this whole season to my dad who passed away on Father's Day. You know, this is just one more trophy we can put in the cabinet that's dedicated to him.
All right, Rick, well, congratulations and great job out here tonight.
Thanks for everything, and I hope everybody up there is having a good time.
All right, there you have it.
So a big win for Rick Swanson. There's his son, Eric, holding up that trophy. Eric actually helps him do a lot of work at home and in the shop on those trucks.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky.
Matt Powers in Shattered, going to be our first one out tonight, and believe you me, this Jeep beats him up out here, especially during freestyle. So let's see what Matt's got in store for us. The youngest driver on the circuit in the Shattered machine comes to us out of Twin Falls, Idaho, a long ways from home, basically, down here in Del Rio, Texas, but having a great time. You know, interestingly enough, him and Craig Christensen drove up here on the same trailer, and a huge hit for Powers. Look at that. A nice launch out into the center of the arena. Oh, my goodness. And the crowd is going wild here in Del Rio, Texas. Powers is all over this freestyle course, setting the pace, a blistering pace, I might add, that is going to be tough to match by some of our other freestyle competitors here tonight. Let's see if he's going to take that stack one more time. Goes skyward, gets the whole Jeep off the ground. And I tell you what, even though that thing has a few hundred horsepower less than the next closest truck out there, he does an exceptional job with what he has to get that thing up in the air and do a great job, and that's a true showman right there. Matt Powers in the Shattered Jeep Scrambler, putting on a great freestyle show. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from his run here. A great job over the cars there, getting the front end up and over. He's not able to jump the whole thing. You might as well at least get the front tires over. And right there, look at that thing climbing all the way up. It's like watching a plane go into a stall mode, just directly vertical, climbing up and over that thing and dropping the front end like a sledgehammer. That has got to be painful. Next out is Darren Basil and El Matador. Looks like he's going to open up with a little bit of a donut here, Del Rio style. A nice donut by Basil, and apparently no mechanical difficulty with that truck whatsoever. He's up and over the van stack. Matt Powers did a great job here just moments ago trying to crush that thing down for him. And Matador moving his way throughout the course, a very small and technical freestyle course, if you will. Not a whole lot of jumps or much else for these guys to go off of. However, the van stack in the center is a great center point, and look at Basil. Another donut rips another one off. And coming back for the van stack, just barely up and over. Boy, it does look like he's having some difficulty out there. Maybe our assumptions earlier were correct, that that truck appeared to have like almost a burnt transmission smell earlier on in the evening, and had some difficulties coming across in the obstacle course and straight line drags. But after that donut right there, it looked like everything was working fine for Darren Basil. A great donut for the crowd here in Del Rio. And then right here, just tries to get that front tire way up there, was able to do so to a certain extent. And Matador back around over the cars there. Coming into this final donut right after this is where he started to suffer some loss of power. And a great donut there. There you see it looks like they're towing the truck off now. So an unfortunate ending to the evening here for Darren Basil and El Matador, but nonetheless, at least he was able to come out and give the fans a little bit of freestyle. This man, a showman right here, Hollywood Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession machine. Coming out to do some battle here on the grounds. Let's see what he's got up and over the cars. A great launch there. Front wheels completely over. Launching the backside of the truck about 3/4 of the way over the cars. Now let's see. I'm anxious to see what he's going to do with that center van stack. A nice launch off the center for Swanson. And it's awful tough after racing all night long. The abuse that these trucks go through. Man, over the course of the entire night, they have got to be hot. They've got to be tired come the end of the night after several hours of being out here racing and running and freestyle and little bit of everything with very little cool-off time. And there you see Swanson, another good launch out in the center of the arena for the FabTech Obsession machine. And he disappears out of sight. It looks like he's going to be taking a run at something. Here he comes. He is going what appears to be pretty dang fast from here. Not. He slows down just a little bit, taking that van stack with a little bit of caution, if you will. After coming across, I don't think I'd be able to hit that thing full speed. It'd launch you pretty well, I think a little higher than what your truck would be capable of handling. But nonetheless, Rick Swanson coming back at it a second time there. Back around the far side of the arena, back over the cars, gets the rear tires all the way over this time around with a nice front-end launch. Now let's see, we're still waiting for that infamous Rick Swanson donut. And here we go, as he starts to get it spinning, there we go. It's broke loose, and he is off and running. A great donut by Swanson, throwing dirt every which way. And it looks like that is going to be the final of this run for your 2006 points leader in obstacle course and straight line drags, Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession machine. There you see the fans waving at him, a packed crowd out here in Del Rio, Texas tonight. Everybody goes crazy for MOD Freestyle. So let's take a look at some of those highlights right now. Rick Swanson in Obsession coming across the cars. Coming back over the van stack. I know it doesn't look like a whole lot to our viewers on TV, but he is actually getting some really good air off of that van stack. Those front tires are landing almost 25 feet out. So it is actually quite a ways, regardless of what speed he's going. There's a good launch over the van stack there as it's starting to get beat up a little bit. Doesn't quite have the ramp that it used to have, and there he gets the whole truck about 20 feet out. Coming into that infamous donut, you can see the truck breaks loose and starts to spin very rapidly.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays.
This weekend when we were there in Meridian, and I lost a motor, Paul lost tranny. Time-wise, we were just kind of against the gun. Paul had some other obligations he needed to take care of as well, so we just elected to yank the motor out of Spider-Man and put it in my truck, and I'd send it. Scott Anderson only lives about 2 hours from our house, so I called and see if he wanted to send one of his boys out with me, and we'd just come and do these last 2 shows and get through the rest of the year. And Paul and I aren't really, contenders in the points this year. We've missed so many of the shows to where it really didn't matter one way or the other if we were both here or not. And since Paul flies back and forth and I drive the semi, it made more sense for me to go than to just put Paul's truck in it, and I'd rather drive mine than Paul's. So I have Paul's Bullet. I put a new intake, new fuel system on it, so we'll see how it works. And but we came for one reason, like always. I come here to clean everybody's clock, show them who can drive and who can't.
Now we're moving on to your 05 champion, Craig Christensen and Dragon Slayer. A nice launch over the center stack, better than anyone so far, and my guess is that Christensen is just going to come out and just beat this truck down. And here we go. Oh, all the way up and over the cars, Christensen. Oh my goodness, and the crowd is on their feet here in Del Rio for your 05 champion in the Dragon Slayer truck. And look at him. He is so excited back there, he can't even get the thing to turn around within the horse track area. Oh, my goodness. Here comes Christensen one more time. Let's see what he's got. I'm excited now. Christensen, a nice launch off the center stack, 40 feet for the front tires. A huge launch in one of those trucks. And, man, I don't care who you are or what kind of setup you got. That has got to be tough. You can see the smoke coming out. Look at that launch there. If you notice the puff on the left rear tire, that was a bead breaking on the tire. You can see smoke coming out of the engine now. That tire is completely off of the bead on the left rear. And let's see what he's going to do. Up and over. Oh, my goodness. Christensen is way up in the air. Completely blows the tire out. Both rear tires are completely off of their rims. Oh, my goodness. Craig Christensen has got this crowd on their feet and cheering wildly as a great MOD freestyle here in Del Rio. And there's the double arm pump right there that we know Christensen for. He's saying, top that, guys. Man, oh man. It doesn't get much better than that. He's able to actually drive it off. Look at it go. It's almost like watching a tank move with the tracks going back and forth, not able to get it to steer just about anywhere. So let's take a look at some of these great highlights from Craig Christensen's run. There's his first initial launch, more of a test run, if you will, off of the runway. So a great launch there, a huge launch off there. That's where the bead popped off, and then back on the tire was actually resealed that time. A great launch by Christensen there, and you know, this guy is always full of surprises, and look at that, always out here to put on a show for our television viewers and live audience as well. And right there, a huge jump by Christensen. I am surprised that those wheels did not break and fly off of that truck as he landed with all the weight on the front right corner. Look at that slow-mo shot. The truck is sideways. Oh, man, that has got to make you happy. Tell you what, that is what you pay to see when you come to a monster truck show. That is what it's all about right there. And Craig Christensen never leaving anyone disappointed at a Monsters of Destruction show. There you can see the considerable damage done to the, look at the rim.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. Back with more after these words.
It is just absolutely beat up. Christensen said, you know what, I popped the tire. We might as well just do it right. So there you see him taking the front loader and getting the truck off of the course. So Kelvin Raymer and Natural High going to have a heck of a time topping that one. Christensen, that is a tough act to follow. Raymer starts it off with a great wheelie right off the bat in a very short arena. Well, I tell you what, you got to get that right the first time out, because if you miss and you stab the throttle a second time, they're going to shut you down with those RII devices, which is the remote ignition interface that they have to operate off of radio frequency in order to control the ignition sequence. Now look at that, Kelvin Raymer and Natural High making a good launch over the cars. The crowd also enjoying Natural High's run here so far this evening. Let's see what else he's got in store for us. Now, I don't know if he is going to be able to top Craig Christensen. Craig flew off of that stack, as Kelvin Raymer also did. But Christensen's truck set up a little bit different. It's more designed to fly far and fast, as Kelvin Raymer's is more designed for the short-term freestyle, more skyward motion in a very short period of time, or a short period of placement of track, I guess you would call it, in a very short area. So there you can see Raymer trying to get the wheelie up, trying to get that back end buried in the dirt. Not going to happen. He's got to stop and move backwards, turning his way around. Now, interestingly enough, he has experimented with a couple different motors so far this season, several different head configurations. He's got some very large axles inside the rear housing there, and so he's running some different things, trying some different configurations to see how he can get this truck the best it can be in all events. And look at this. Here comes the infamous Raymer three-wheel donut. The one tire is 2 or 3 feet off of the ground. Look at Raymer go. He is doing the cyclone right there. A great donut by Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. A great finishing move for him, one that we're not usually used to seeing that long. That was an extensive donut. And some of the reasons why they don't like to do that is because the fluid moves to the outer portion of the differential and of the axles, and can cause some considerable heat and damage to the inner gears. So Raymer obviously has that problem solved. Look at that wheelie right to the fence and shuts it down. Man, oh man, all the way over the cars there. A great launch and another nice touch there. And of course, the finishing touches of Kelvin Raymer's run was fantastic. Will probably be talked about for quite some time. There you see that nice launch coming into the final three-wheel donut. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us here for this episode of Monsters of Destruction. We'll see you next time. This is Kevin Hynes.